what is the secret to finishing game? I think for me, the secret to finishing a game is actually just being satisfied, getting to a goal, kind of like completing it, starting it, and just finishing and completing it to the goal. I don't think it should be that complicated to finish a game. It's just more of a mental issue where you kind of like need to overcome those obstacles, those mental obstacles. For me, finishing a game isn't so bad because I finish games and I'm okay with the art the way it is. I try to make like a simple goal and then I just add to it when I'm done. I was like, okay, I'm finishing this simple goal. Like kind of like how I'm doing the tower defense. The goal is just to stop the thieves from reaching the safe until you reach, 0 lives. You can build tower defenses, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna make it really easy. Along the way, I can add to it, like I can add colors, that sort of thing, like flash and juice to it. So that's gonna be something extra. And I think that's really the best way of finishing a game, right? I think the polish and the like that sort of look to the game that takes time. It's a long process. That could be part of the. I guess that would be part of just getting like more into the game. But a demo, let's say you want to just try out and maybe have a demo out, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? You can kind of like get that creativity out there and have players test it out and see what they feel and what they like about it, right? And if you get a lot of backers just from none of using none of the like graphics or the VFX, then you'll be fine. Like for example, Path of Exile. So I got to look at Path of Exile. The one thing about Path of Exile 2 and 1 is it has a lot of VFX. So if you pay attention, if it didn't have any of that VFX and the cool lighting and the coloring and all that, it'll be a pretty bland game. Alright, and I'm sure that's how they started the game. Let's just make a basic game without focusing about any of the VFX or any of the coloring. Let's demo out, see how it looks, see if it works first. Right? Once we know it works for sure, then we can add the whole, juice and VFX to the game. That's like something extra to the game, just to get the players kind of like into it. And that's how visuals come in, where it intrigues players to say, okay, I wanna check out this game because it has cool visual effects and all that. Oh, when you slam down or the ground shakes, that sort of thing. That's all VFX. Right? It's good. It's really useful for the player, but it's not a requirement for you to finish your game. I think if you have like a quick demo just to show it off, then you can kind of like add those VFX sort of thing. PoE started as a steampunk type of game on web browser. Yeah, you start somewhere, right? It starts with like a steampunk kind of game, like a top-down kind of game, and then from there you build off to it, right? You start somewhere. Right? It's the same with Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight started with an easy game jam, boring, like a hollow, quick night. Right? You get the Hungry Knight, right? That sort of thing. From there you kind of build off to it. You get backers, you get feedback, right? You kind of have to okay, this is what players want. We're gonna add more to it, so we can kind of intrigue players into doing it. So yeah, I like PoE. I like how it looks. I like how it's very fun and is done well. And that's what made it really a good success. That's where PoE started as a web browser game. Yeah, right? That's a demo game, right? It was done as a demo game. Let's try to see what people like about it. And they built up from it. Yeah, it's the same process, right? Your games at first don't have to be perfect. They can be kind of broken. They can, have some issues on it, right? But later on, you add more to it. You add more to your game. Right, it's kind of like how I'm doing it with my games. Right, I start off small and then I build onto it. I'll add polish, the special VFX, that sort of thing, and design. Yeah, like if it weren't for like the VFX, I think PoE would be just like a boring top-down shooter sort of game, like an action RPG, right? But once you add the feel to it, it just makes it much nicer to see visually. Right? And I think that's where graphics and visualizations will come in. Even for those type of games, even if it's 2D, that means you can add more visualizations to your game, right? So instead of having like a little cool portal looking thing, you can have a huge portal looking thing. Yeah, that's where it's gonna come in. It's gonna help out for those type of games. Yeah, and I think it'll be the same. You start somewhere, you build off from it, and then from there you learn. Okay, now that I know how to do the basics, I can do a little bit more, right? And that's where players need help with. So I would say finishing your game, just it's a process. It takes time, right? It's not so bad. You shouldn't focus too much on making the perfect game. Make a game, get people to, get players to test it out, see what they think, right? And if you get a positive, review, and then say, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. I liked what you're doing here. It has potential, right? You want to have that potential in there, and once you do, then you can do more longer things, like longer projects, that sort of thing. Yeah, it should be a requirement for, at least for you as a new game developer, to finish one game. All right, doesn't matter if it's kind of like buggy or the arts are kind of off. As long as you get a start and finish, I think that's pretty good.